Welcome to the third part of this series. In the first part, we learned to create this database, and in the second part, we implemented a GUI for tic-tac-toe. Now we'll be implementing the AI function. Now I'll be calling the AI after the activate box. Now AI is inside the activate function. I have also defined some variables here. Now what each and every variable does, it's difficult to tell. So when its use comes, I will show you what it does. Here, AIDBCNT counts the number of steps in AI, and AIDB here is an array of 2 by 10 inputting each and every state. Now I have defined here the AI function, and here I have already typed some variables. Now these are a lot of variables. Each and every variable to describe is difficult, so I will be describing it later on. Now you can just copy it from the file I have provided in description. Proceeding, I will be creating a while loop. Now this loop will be taking values from a equals 0 to a till a is less than 19,683, that is total number of possibilities. Now the while condition goes like this. Now what this will do is it will take the database's first column, that is all the possibilities of possible inputs, and it will scan through it till a possible match is found of the present state, and then it will be storing it. After this, I will do some data sorting. So it goes like this. Okay, so what this part does is, we have here our database. Now, our first column represents the possible playing options, and the next columns represent how the AI can play, that is in boxes which are available to play. These are depicted by ones in replacing all the zeros that are the empty positions. So what we need to do here is, we need to just remove the first column and take the entire row, that is excluding the first column but including all other columns. So it does exactly this. It will take the row that is selected and it will copy exactly, just excluding the first column, that is this part. Now I will create a for loop. Now in this for loop, what this does is that in our database we have stored the weights after the 9 positions, that is 0 to 8, which is our input playing options. Our weight is by default 10,000, but after training it will be changing. So this part does is, it takes each and every input, that is each and every member, and takes everything after the ninth position, that is our weights. So it will store all the weights and append it to ARR4 list. Then it will search for the max. So then it will search for the maximum weight, which will give the maximum winning possibility. Then I will do some data sorting. Now in CSV files at the end there are slash and characters. Now while reading CSV files, the commas can be easily eliminated through CSV file reader that we used below. But the slash and character remains there, so we need to remove that. And also I will do some other data sorting. I will be storing the weights in one variable, and I will be storing the input options in another variable. So I will do as, this part will remove the slash and characters. Then this will store the part in which the weights are stored, that is everything after the 9 position. Then in var2 I will be saving the input options, that is everything till 9th position. Now I will be storing this state into AIDB. Then I will be increasing the AIDB underscore CNT, that is the counter. Now what we need to do is, we have stored this in var2, but as you can see here the computer doesn't know that exactly at which position is 1. So in the computer we need to input a for loop to search where exactly is the 1, because here 1 is in the first position but somewhere else it will be in the 4th position, 3rd, or etc. So we will create a for loop for this. Now nextly, we'll be using this to implement on the GUI. So we'll be configuring the buttons as per the selected options. So, and similarly as we did for player 1, we will be doing for this for player 2 also. So fast forwarding a little bit. Now after you are done till this, we'll be increasing our CNT main counter by +1. And then we will again activate our wincheck function. Now we have not finished creating our AI tic-tac-toe because we need to still define the training of the program, and we need to define how the AI will store into the database and change according to at each playing stroke. So let's do that. For this I will be defining another function. Let's name it dbChange for changing the db. Now I will be defining some variables here. Now, after these variables are defined, I will create two conditions. Now, if x wins, then the weight should increase in the database, and if O wins, then the weight should decrease. So, if this condition is verified that x is win, so str1 equals x, that is the AI1, because x player is the AI. So, it will go through AIDB. Now, what it exactly does is that it stores all the past playing history. Now, when we play, okay, so this is your problem. Okay, so if I start here, as you can see this, when I push O here, it will store O was selected in AIDB, and similarly when AI is activated, it will show some X anywhere as per the database, and it will also store in AIDB. So total 9 possible playing options will be stored in that database, rather AIDB. So let's create the function for that. So if str1 equals X, that the AI1, then it will loop through the database and change the weights accordingly inside the database. So it is a little bit complicated, but if you go through thoroughly, then you can understand. Now here, AIDBX is the first and the O is the position. So database, it will define the column, and next it will define the row. Now here X is the playing count and 0 is the position. Now this will scan through the database and find the row in which this is stored. And next it will search for the column. So AIDB X1, in which the column is stored, this will be equal to DB AIDB X and 0, that is exactly this, and then AIDB X and 1. Now these both things are exactly same. So what this does is it fetches exactly in which the playing database was stored. Now in this it will replace first the /n character. So replace by an empty. Okay, so okay, this is right. And it will select everything till the ninth position plus str to convert it into a string from an int. Now in this part we will storing it the changing weights. Now we need to first fetch the original weight which was before. So for this fetch we will doing exactly this thing only. So let's just copy, and then we'll be replacing the /n character if it appears. So and then we'll be taking everything after the 9 position, that is our weight, and adding 1 to it. So if the x wins, then it will change the weights by +1. Exactly, we'll be doing this for the condition that if O wins. Now O is us. Now the database needs to train. So if O wins, then the database weight should decrease by 1. So we'll define the same condition for that too. So if elif O's condition is satisfied, then we'll be copying this same thing again. Okay, now here we need to decrease it by 1. So here we will change it to -1. Okay, so now we need to add a for loop because when we played through one session, a lot of history was recorded that I've played first, then the AI played, then I played again. So this each steps should be changed in the database. So I'll be doing a for loop for this. And similarly, I will implementing this for loop for the O option also. So let's give a tab here and here too. Okay, so we have just misspelled here. It's elif. Now here we have just changed the db variable, that is just a list. We need to actually put this into a file that we created earlier, that is the file named db. So we'll be changing the database by simply copying the whole db function into it by a CSV writer. So we'll be opening the database in write mode and naming it as f file equals csv dot writer the file f, and we'll be defining the line terminator as /n because in each line of the database the end lines by /n character, that is an enter character. So file dot write rows into db. Okay, so this will take the db list and copy it into file, that is a file. So we are done here writing our AI. So let's just check for some errors if they appear. Okay, so before just starting, we actually need to call the function, so I just forgot it. So we'll be calling this function exactly after we have checked that if a player wins or not. So it will only change the database when a player wins or loses. So we will be typing here db change. Now here in this condition O is winning, so we'll be passing the variable O. And for this we'll be defining a parameter in db change as str1. So we'll be copying this in all the O conditions also, and in the X we'll change the O to X. Okay, so we have changed here. Now in the draw condition no one is winning, so we'll be not changing the database at all. So let's run if any error appears. Okay, so some error is there. Okay, so after digging around I found that I just made a little mistake here. It's 0 for X in range. So after correcting this, let's run our program. Okay, so it's, you can see here it's exactly working fine. Now at each and every time when we play this, okay, so let's see O wins. So O, that is us, 1 year. So the database weights will be reduced by 1. Now it is a very tedious task to train our database like this, that we open, we do some, and it changes the database. We can automate this by a very simple thing. We just need to add 1 or 2 lines here and there. So first, in a wincheck function, we'll be commenting a message boxes because while training the database, the message box will interrupt as we have to always click OK for that. So we need to just comment the message boxes. Then in the AI function that we created somewhere here, yeah, this is the AI function. After wincheck, we'll be typing activate 1 to automatically activate the function. Now, let's add a comment that this is the training part. Now nextly, we'll be adding the activate function here also. Now, while passing this, always 1 is selected, so we need to randomize it somewhat. In the activate function, before CNT, we'll be adding some lines here. Let's comment it as a training data and an end line. Now we'll be adding here a while loop in which condition is always 1. We'll be breaking it through an if statement. Now box equals random.choice for a random variable in which it will be only selecting from this list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Now if box not in box or bx, yes it's bx, then it will break. Now what exactly it does is, if it finds a empty position in bx that is not selected, it will fill it with this empty choice, which is a completely random number, and it will continue through that. So we had trained our data. Now to run this, we can just click run here, and as you can see it actually executed the code. If you again click here, okay, so we just forgot it to comment the message box. Okay, so we forgot it to comment this message box. So let's run this. Okay, so it's completely working fine. Now we are done creating our whole program here. Now to give more automation for the training, we can do this, that these are our files. Now we need to create a batch program. So let's first open a command prompt here and open notepad. Now here you need to copy these lines. Now at echo of, that is nothing will be displayed at the prompt, clear the screen and it will start a block named start. Now here we will be giving the name of our file, that is the code we just created, and running it through Python. Now we will be echoing pass1 to acknowledge us that it has executed the whole program once. Then it will go to the start and it will loop through it forever. So let's say this as trainer.bat in our folder. Now after you have saved in the folder, we need to change the Python file to run, because in the batch command, that is this one, we have named as run.py. Now if we start this, as you can see here, it is continuously looping it automatically. Now you can leave this for, I don't know, like 2 to 3 hours, maybe 1 day, maybe 3 days, 4 days or 1 month, as you like. It will go through the database and continuously change and make it more powerful to defeat us. Now it depends on you that how much you run this. The more you run, the more powerful will be the database to defeat us. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you like this series, then mention in the comments that you successfully created the program without any problems. If you faced any problems, then let me know in the comments and tell me how did you like the video and what changes should I make in this. If you want some new content from me, then you can always tell me in the comments. Like my video, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching this whole series.